to another episode of Rated R Recovery, ratedrrecovery.com.
I'm so excited.
I am an alcoholic that doesn't drink, I am a drug addict that doesn't use, and I am a dead man that walks amongst the living. This is by no righteous deed of my own, and my name is Fletcher P. Henderson, but you can call me Fletch.
Hey, Fletch.
And welcome back to the show with a rousing round of applause, everybody, here as we're broadcasting each and every week in front of a live studio audience at Studio 7 Cafe and Coffee Company in Cape Coral, Florida. Yet heard around the world, so make some noise, everyone. And welcome back my dear friend and co-host Joy Thomas, who's been on sabbatical.
Yeehaw! So happy to be here.
Are you?
Very much.
Yeah? So what have you been doing with all this time you've had on your hands?
Recuperating.
Okay, all right. And how do you feel?
Well, I feel better.
And you are still active in your recovery world?
Don't you know it?
Okay. So we are brought to you each and every week by a bevy of sponsors. We can be heard around the world, like I said, at www.ratedrrecovery.com. Please like us on the Facebook and pass us around. You can connect to us on Facebook as well. You can get help for men's and women's sober living on the page, and you can also send messages to us that way. We also have past shows on YouTube, the iTunes network. Thanks to Captain Brian at Captain Brian's Off the Hook Comedy Club. You can hear us at podcastcafelive.com. And I think that's it.
We have them all except for when I sang. It's not on there.
What is it? Is it?
No, it's not on
That's disheartening.
there. It is.
Well, you know what that means.
What?
That we can do that show again.
Oh, okay then.
You get
Yeah.
to sing again.
Yeah.
All right.
In fact, your husband, Art Vandelay, sang on that show, didn't he?
Yes, he did. He's on there.
Did you see the T-shirts that are available that say Vandelay Industries on them?
Oh, yes.
Yeah? Is that Christmas present next year?
I don't know. Well, he got one for Christmas. Oh, the fund, the human fund, money for people.
I didn't see that one.
He got that one for Christmas.
This one said Vandelay Industries, importers and exporters of fine latex products, is what it said, yeah. So each and every week what we do is we talk about something in recovery related, whether it be drugs, alcohol, sex, shopping, food addiction, codependency, etc., etc. Like my pastor says, everyone has an it.
A hurt, habit, or hang-up.
Right. And joining us on the panel today are two lovely young ladies that I've known for quite some time. Please welcome Betty Masters to the show.
Thank you, Fletch.
And Pam M. We'll call you Pam M. Is that what's good to call you?
Yes, that's fine.
As long as we don't call you late for dinner.
Exactly.
Okay. So we're going to start with Pam, actually, right now. Pam, tell us a little bit about let's see, what do we want to know, Joy?
We want to know how bad it got, what happened, and what's going on now.
Well, it got really bad at the beginning of 2003. I lost both my parents. I became a really heavy drug addict and alcoholic.
Were you doing anything before you lost your parents, though? Were you
A
like a
little bit.
partier?
Yeah, I was a partier. I was a drinker. Friday night, Saturday night drinker. It was, the normal weekend thing.
Okay, and then for whatever reason, when you lost your parents, that's the tool you used to help you get over it, or whatever.
Yeah, for quite almost 3.5, 4 years, I used that drug.
Did you lose, were they killed in an automobile accident or something? You said you lost both your parents.
Yes, my dad was a two-tour tunnel rat for the Marines, and Agent Orange took him. April 28th will be 11 years he's been gone. And 8 months to the day my dad died, an hour later we found out my mom was dying from cancer.
Oh.
And she died the day after Christmas.
Oh, okay. So this, like Joy said, Joy, you want to keep going with that? You were talking about the fact that from that episode, these tragedies that we have in our life caused you to deal with it with drugs and alcohol. Or was it just alcohol or just drugs?
It was alcohol for a while, and then the drugs kicked in. It was another release of it, letting go and not remembering that I had lost it so much in my life.
What year was that you said now?
My parents died in 2004.
Okay. How long did this downward spiral continue?
It lasted in 2006 when I was arrested. Yes.
Let's talk about that.
Best day of
Not
my
that
life.
arresting is a positive thing in our lives, but as alcoholics and addicts, it can save our lives, can it not?
Yes, it did.
Yeah, and a lot of people might think that's very strange, but it's something that if you're in the recovery community, or if you have a loved one who's been battling with drugs and alcohol, that having the police involved is a good way to get that person to stop, to put them in a safe place. At least you know where your loved one's going to be, and make sure that they get a meal or two.
Oh yeah, the police officer, there was one police officer 5 times through my time here in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
I got really bad here in Florida. I forgot I was married, I had kids, I let everything go. And it got to the point where I was down at the beach and living off the beach and hanging with, you know,
The beach people.
With whoever.
yeah. So I had a cop 5 times out of my 8 months of down at the beach. He always would be around me when I needed somebody. And he kept telling me, Pamela, this is not for you. This is not who I can see you as.
Mm-hmm.
So on October 6th, when he came and arrested me,
So did you hate him when he was telling you all that stuff?
no, because
No?
I knew
Uh-huh.
deep down inside it wasn't me. Because my past life is, I had a great marriage. I had great family
How
connection.
do you forget you're married?
I wanted to forget everything.
Oh, you wanted to push
I
that.
wanted, you know, my parents dying was the worst thing in my life.
Yeah.
You know, my mom was my best friend. And
then everything just hurt too much.
Yeah, I just didn't want to remember. I just wanted to forget everything, and I did.
Now, you're originally from my neck of the woods, and
Yes.
I just got back from Boston, which I get to do this awesome thing with these famous musicians. But but when I was there, one of the great things about it was everybody had the accent, and I just loved it. So where are you from?
I'm from Marlboro, Mass.
Marlboro.
Yes.
Oh, that's right. Well, yeah. Okay. So the process started in Massachusetts.
Yes.
And how did you end up in Florida?
I came here to try to save my marriage, buy a home, which we got the home. I didn't save the marriage. I ended up going back, finding it heavier here in the state of Florida, and it was take off from there.
Did you have children?
I have 2 boys.
When you were arrested, what were you charged with?
Distributing of crack cocaine in a school zone to an undercover.
Nice. Okay. I say nice because that's that part that saves our lives.
I was looking at a lot of years.
My sister, Joy, as you know,
Mm-hmm.
says she used to say to me that when I would be locked up, which was a lot of times, that I know where you are,
Mm-hmm.
I know you have a roof over your head, I know you're not going to be hurt or hurt anybody else, so it's a good place to stay.
Yeah.
Call me later.
And that's what a lot of us come to believe. And
Right.
the people who are going through it don't see it that way and hate us for, you know, calling the cops or trying to get someone to intervene when, you know, we wouldn't do it if it wasn't a sort of last-ditch effort. But you had an angel in the form of a
Yeah.
A police
of a
officer.
cop who saw something in you and tried to at least keep tabs on you.
Yeah, but to this day, I still don't know who he was.
Wow.
Oh, is that what you were talking to me about
Yes.
the other day? You wanted to
My
find
God, I
that?
wanted to find the police
But
officer.
maybe it's not meant to be.
You know, but they deserve
want
a
it.
thank you.
Yeah.
He deserves that thank you for sticking by me.
Betty, has that been your experience? Has there anybody been in your life where you wanted to find and you? I look at Pam. I've known Pam for a long time. We came in. I think I came in. It's not my sobriety day, but I came into recovery in the year 2008. Was that the same year? You?
No, I was 2006.
Okay, so you were there when I got there.
Yeah.
That's how we met.
Yeah.
And we met through a program called Celebrate Recovery.
Mhm.
But when I try to force things, you know, when I try to, I need to find this guy and thank him. Maybe he was just that, an angel, and that's all he was meant to be there for.
Well,
Betty, what's your experience with that?
I haven't had that experience that I felt that I needed to go back and thank anyone in particular because I didn't really remember anyone in particular who was out there urging me to get help at that point in time.
And Sue, Joy, if you were dealing with this situation on a one-on-one basis with Pam, how would you deal with that? The fact that I need to find this person.
Oh, I don't know. You know, we pray about it, and you could go down to the beach and find out what precincts are down there. I mean, have you?
Yeah.
Because that's probably where
They won't
that
give me
person would be.
information.
Okay, they won't give you any information.
Yeah.
So it's probably not, it's probably not meant to be. I know that there were some amends that I didn't want to make, but I had done the work that I was supposed to do, and I had been praying about it, and sure enough, this lady that I hadn't seen, didn't know, couldn't remember her last name, appeared before me, and the first time I saw her, I wasn't ready, and I hid from her, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to do that. And then I ran into her somewhere else at a totally different, place and time in Fort Myers, and there she was again. And that time I was with some other people, and I said a little prayer and went up to her and was able to thank her for the good that she had done for me. And I owed her some money, and she said, don't worry about that. You just help somebody else. And that was amazing. And then come to find out, years later, I'm in a book club with this young woman, and she said, my mom's in town and wants to come to our book club next week. Is that okay? And we all said, sure. And the next week, sure enough, it was that lady, and she was my friend's mom, and I didn't know it all those years.
Wow.
So, God puts people in your path when they're supposed to be there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he does.
You never know what's going to happen.
Exactly. I was just going to reiterate that. I mean, that's the way it has worked out in my life. When you're ready, when the time is right, if you're supposed to, that person will appear and you'll have the words. You'll find the strength. You'll know what to say when. Yeah.
And I think we all have a little bit of that experience. Not the exact situation, but this thing that, how did that happen?
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
And like I say, it's by no righteous deed of my own. Pam, so you're arrested, charged with possession, distribution of crack cocaine, 100 feet of a schoolyard, which increases that charge exponentially.
Yes.
What happened with that?
I ended up going, it was a year after my sobriety, I finally went to trial, and the judge had sentenced me that day. I was looking at 35.
Wow.
And the DA jumped up, thank God for him, and he said, Your Honor, we need to discuss this. And they came back out, and the judge said, for some reason, the DA wants to make you his protege.
The district attorney?
Yes.
It usually works the other way around.
That's right.
The judge was very irritated with that.
Yeah, and the judge didn't have to take his word.
No. And here I am today, I'm still clean and
So
sober.
what did they give you? They just said set you home with probation?
No, I had 5 years probation. Well, I spent 3 months in jail. I had 5 years in probation, which to me was the best blessing.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Keeps you accountable to
It
somebody.
was just amazing on how quick the time went and the people I met. And just the people through probation that I gave my inspiration to stay clean and sober. It's so much better.
Absolutely. So now, okay, so that starts this recovery wheel going.
Mm-hmm.
And so you get clean and sober, locked up, because you can't, well, you can, but...
I'm already a year clean in
Yeah.
jail.
Okay, yes. You're, what, 3 months, is
I'm a
it?
year.
You're only a year clean.
I'm a year clean going into jail.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
It took them a year to take me to trial.
Oh, okay. All right. How did you stay clean for that year? That's what I want to know.
By recovery of grace in God.
Okay. So you just prayed and it was removed, or you...
Yes.
No AA, CA, NA?
I went to AA and NA, but I found more recovery with God.
Sure.
I mean, I rely on Him more, because I mean, even today, I still rely on God to get me through my troubled times.
Okay.
And it helps me. And it's to me, it's just a blessing. I'm very grateful for where I am today.
Well, those 12 steps that were put down in paper in the late 1930s by Alcoholics Anonymous, the purpose of those steps is to lead us, men, women, to lead us to a power greater than ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And that power for us is God. For us, you and I, Jesus Christ. For all of us, maybe Jesus Christ. I know 3 out of the 4. Betty, is that your higher power too, or it doesn't have to be?
It isn't. No.
Okay.
God.
Yeah.
Just
okay.
Just to know.
That's a great idea, because not a great idea.
Yeah, I can't even say it now.
Omnipotent.
Yeah, that word that George has used, I can't say it either. I have a dear friend that is active in recovery, and she calls her God Power of the Universe. Doesn't have a name, doesn't have a face.
Exactly.
It's the power of the universe.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's what works for her, and that's all that matters.
But I started differently. I started in AA.
Yes.
And in AA, it's not necessarily discussed or pushed. I'm not sure that pushed is the right word, but promoted as something that
yeah,
you
it's a
had to
freedom.
have immediately. And it was a process for me because I wasn't raised in any type of formal
Right.
religion or education.
But it does say in a chapter of that book, their basic text, that there is one that has all power. That one is God. May you find him, not tomorrow, may you
Yes.
find him now.
Yes.
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 Okay, so now let's go, Pam. So you have maintained, has it ever been a point where, gosh, you're white-knuckling it, I want to drink, I want to smoke some crack?
Yeah, I've had those times.
And tell us how you've dealt with that.
I get on my knees and ask God to take that
Amen.
away. And within seconds, it's an overwhelming, and I'm okay. You know, I just say, you know, dear Lord, please take it away from me. I mean, I've gone through some trials through my sobriety. You know, I've lost some children from my son's friends. I've had cancer, you know, and I've lost a best friend. Even those times, I get on my knees just to pray and just say, God, please take that urge away from me.
Now, what was I going to say? Ever since I've known you, you've been a sober individual. You were very involved with a group that I started attending when I was released from incarceration, a group that's called Celebrate Recovery, which is a Christian way of doing the 12 steps, along with biblical comparisons. And are you still active with those type of things?
Yes, I go to Citygate on Friday nights.
Citygate, what she's talking about is Citygate Ministries, which is downtown Fort Myers, Florida, USA. That's for the people listening in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do women gravitate to you? For instance, you have a certain persona to me. Okay? Not that I'm judging or anything like that, but you seem to be that girl that I grew up with that was really cool, that liked to hang around motorcycles, which you do, and that you have a tough exterior. Beautiful inside and out, I might say. Do you have women like yourself that are gravitated to you that say, you know, she's a lot like me, I need to talk to her?
I've had quite a few people. Right now, I mean, I've even got 3 sponsees. You know, for a while, when I first got clean and sober, I had maybe 4 or 5 people that I would help, and then all of a sudden, it was like my phone just stopped ringing. And for a couple of years, it just went away for a little while, and then all of a sudden, I started Citygate, and it's like my phone was ringing.
Good.
But I did, with all this time, within the last 7 years, I have given my opinion or given them my story, and it's helped them.
Yes.
You know, and my phone number's out there, and a lot of people have it. So if they even just need someone to talk to, I'm willing to go for coffee or just talk to you on the phone until they actually are okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Ladies, anything more for Pam before we take our first break? I guess that's a no. Huh? All right, we are going to take a slight commercial break. Oh, you do?
No, I said I didn't know that
You
was
did?
coming.
Oh, okay. Well, we are going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, we'll have more with Betty Masters and our special musical guest, Renee Hose. And this is all on Rated R for Recovery and RatedRforRecovery.com.
Maintenance or replacing all the professionals now at Cooling, Air Conditioning and Heating. 39275-7077. Maintenance calls are only $29 and financing is available for new systems. Visit the virtual service center online for more details. Plus comments from their satisfied customer. Call Cooling at 239-275-7077 to schedule an appointment. Remember, in Southwest Florida, you can stay cool with cool air. Not everyone has the luck of the Irish. If a friend or family member is in trouble, call Shamrock Bell Office. Put our number into your phone. 239-332-2245. 239-332-2245. Or go online at quitbailingout.com. Shamrock Bell Office provides fast, reliable service. Shamrock Bell Office, 1528 Broadway, downtown Fort Myers. Shamrock, we'll be on your side. Get your sweet on at Caesar New Fletch Factory. With more than 1,000 varieties of Fletch. And responsible on site. You are sure to find a flavor you like. I don't know why you're doing that. Need a strong flavor for you. We have this too. Celebrate Fletch Factory. Across the post office. Visit CW Fletch Factory and or sweetheart, it's easy to fall behind on credit card and mortgage payments. When you lose a job or experience financial difficulty, this can cause serious stress in your life. As we all know, the two most devastating things that can bring us all down are romance and finances. So our solution, if you are in foreclosure, divorce, detached or sex bankruptcy, discharges your debt and gives you a fresh start, call Susan O'Reilly for debt and bankruptcy advice. 239-210-2100. 239-210-2100.
Of all people, they put me in with prostitute.
But not if you bring your vehicle to your one-stop shop for all
And I was just like, yeah, I'm healthy.
I can't wear, I can't wear those
Right.
clothes.
I would take for a little while. Yeah.
And here I am, all like, I'm I was just like, it was weird because seriously, when I worked that far,
Have you been considering a kitchen renovation or bathroom remodeling? There's no one better to call than the professionals at Honey's Construction. Value, beauty, and functionality. Get the right design for your kitchen or bathroom and add significant value to your home.
All right,
Call
guys.
Honey's Construction today at 229-4934. Honey's Construction's purpose and mission is to fulfill dreams and to be grateful for the many blessings we enjoy each and every day. 229-4934. Taste my home while paying for it. Open daily for breakfast and lunch and located at 2400 First Street.
That's the way the power of God.
Solid sandwiches and desserts. Windows has been rated 5 stars by Urban Spring and Yelp. Get the taste of home. Or let us bring the taste of home to your home. Windows Cafe and Gate, 2400 First Street, downtown Fort Myers.
Every Friday night at 6:45 p.m. Experience Celebrate Recovery at Grace Church at 13 Southeast 21st Place in Decorah. The purpose of Celebrate Recovery is to encourage fellowship and celebrate God's healing power in our lives as we work our way along the road to recovery. By working through the 12 steps and principles of Celebrate Recovery, we grow spiritually.
John, when that guy comes, after I meet with him, I want to sit down with him.
Every Friday night at 6:45 p.m. at Grace Church, 13 Southeast 21st Place in Decorah.
Are your kids in your life?
And it is vitally important that you have skilled legal assistance on your side.
Yes.
Call Brian L. Edwards, Esquire, Attorney at Law today. 888-512-6254. Results matter with a track record of success. Our methods are tried and true. Mistakes happen, but we can help. Brian L. Edwards, Esquire, Attorney at Law. Visit FortMyersCriminalLawFirm.com or call 888-512-6254. Call 239-389-6900 or visit This document does not automatically expire. Many parents are shocked when they complete treatment or are released from jail only to discover their family member will not return their children. Before you sign any document that transfers custody, call Susan Alray or advise When it comes to your vehicle, two words are all that really matter. Reliable and honest. And that is AJ Auto Repair. Located at 16580 McGregor Boulevard in Fort Myers. AJ Auto Repair is just outside County for over 20 years. Stop in anytime for a free estimate. Call us at 432-282. That's 432.
How long have you been down here?
2000. I didn't
Reliable auto service. AJ Auto Repair. AJ Auto Repair. Your one-stop auto repair.
Oh, Trish, of all people, Trish.
On you, a friend, or even a family member, or just someone you know looking for a home in this tropical paradise. From first-time home buyer to investor, Tiffany Cash has specialized in guiding you through the purchasing process. Perhaps you have a home with potential to sell it, or would like to know the value of it. Maybe you want to build your dream home, watches your Tiffany Packard can help you with all your real estate needs. Tiffany Packard at My Law Auto, 542-1075. That's 542-1075. Tiffany at MyLawAutoShopRealty.com. Feeling lost? Feeling lost? Feeling helpless? We are here to help.
I hit the city and I lost my band. I watched the needle take another man.
Welcome back to Radio Down for Recovery, and welcome to everybody listening around the world at RadioDownForRecovery.com. You know, Joy and Betty, I was with what I get to do, just for the fact that I can stay clean and sober one day at a time. That
Chokes you right up.
yeah. Why don't you take over first?
Well, here we are back from commercial, and I was going to talk about Neil Young, but
I think you should.
no, we don't need to do that.
Our co-host
Well-
last week didn't even know who
Neil
Neil Young
Young
was.
Yeah.
Right.
And there was a poll
he's
about-
my age. He's my age.
Yeah.
Oh, there was a poll about how many kids today have heard the song Stairway to Heaven by Led Zeppelin, and yeah, that number was pretty big. Who were the Beatles?
Who were the Beatles? Right.
Well, so now I can talk about it. We were doing a show at the Foxwoods Casino, the largest casino in the world, and one of the stagehands said to me, "You're the guy from that does that Rated R recovery show on the Facebook," and I said, "Yes." And he said he listens every week, and he's in
Wow.
Hartford, Connecticut.
Good for
And
you.
that was-
That must
And I
be
had to
really-
question him over and over again. "You sure you're thinking of the right show? You sure?" And he was, yeah.
Did you quiz him?
I did.
Make him answer the questions?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I had to figure out if he was really listening to this show or maybe some other. So we're brought to you each week by a bevy of sponsors, some of which, or all of which, you can hear on commercial break. And our guest right now is a good friend of the show. Please welcome Betty Masters to the show. Betty, you and I have known each other for a while, seeing each other in different social music events. You've been sober for how long? You've been since,
30 years last July.
congratulations. That deserves a round of applause.
Thank you.
Real quickly, so the listeners at home can identify, and how bad did it get with you? And then we're going to move on to...
How bad did it get?
Yeah.
I was empty. I was devoid of anything spiritually. Scared, terrified. My life was falling apart. The only good thing that I have to say about me at that time is that I never lost custody of my girls. But when I got sober, I was convinced it was my husband who needed to stop drinking.
Mm-hmm.
And if he would stop drinking, then I would be okay.
I said that last night about my husband.
There's probably a few husbands who said that about their wives as well.
Exactly.
But I was able to talk him into going into a therapy session, a counseling, to determine whether or not he had a problem. I went too, and then she sent us immediately to a meeting. Terrified, I thought I was going to a meeting filled with the guys that lived under the bridge.
Oh, yeah.
But that's just how scared I was and how empty and lost that I felt about myself at that point in time. And I was willing to do that because I didn't have anything else or any place else, anyone else to go to turn to or to rely on.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I went.
As a clean and sober individual, you are a great, what is it called?
Example?
Example, that's one. But you're a great promoter of live music that goes on in our local area. You're always at the shows. Were you like that before when you were drinking? Were you always into music and?
I was always into music, but I really didn't drink a lot in bars or anything. I was a stay-at-home mom. You know, I had my children. I married young. I had children young. But music was always a big part of my life. And whenever I could go see a live performance, I would. I prefer live performance of anything,
Right.
whether it be a band, a singer, a play, opera, symphony, live performances. It's about the energy and the exuberance of all concerned. So, no, as far as being out there like I am now, I wasn't. Never was.
You and Joy Thomas have a lot in common when it comes to your affection, your love for live music too.
Oh, yes. And I forgot what I was going to say. Is this a job for you, or is this an avocation?
It's an avocation, yeah. It's a gift from God. It's a gift from God. My husband died in '05, and we moved down here in 2000. And when he passed, I had to find my way and reestablish myself, reinvent myself at the age of 60. Got a job, and through that job, I met some people who were affiliated with a children's music foundation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still sober, but I'm not going out. I don't have a social life, anything like that. And that children's music foundation introduced me to the bands and some of the musicians around town. And lo and behold, it's just evolved into that avocation. And as time has gone on, I've become more familiar, more comfortable going out by myself, because I really, don't give people rides.
Yeah, and it's not for everyone.
Music venues, because there's alcohol being served there, and it's not up to me to tell them whether or not they can imbibe. So I'll just, wing it on my own.
Right, and it's not for every sober person to go hanging around, spending a majority of your time listening to bands in places where they serve alcohol, and you might get seduced by the, the lights and the feelings and think that has to mean drink.
Absolutely,
But,
absolutely not.
As a question, it seemed to me when I was out drinking in the bars and listening to music, it felt to me like everybody was drinking like I was. And so now that you go there and you're sober, do you feel that, no, it's not really like that there are plenty of people out there who aren't, puking in their purses and falling over the johns and...
No, not plenty of people. Not at all. I'm quite dismayed at the number and the high prevalence of alcohol usage in this area. I have to say this area, because I've only really experienced this visiting of music venues where alcohol is served.
Mm-hmm.
I never really did this in Ohio before I came down here. This is like a whole different life for me that I never set out to. I thought I was get involved with helping kids with guitar lessons,
right.
And there wasn't alcohol going to be involved in that. So the way this has all developed has been very interesting. And I'm very pleased that I am able to do that, because I do believe, as John was leading into, I think, that I am an example, that it can be done, and that, at my age, that I'm 30 years sober, they know that out there.
Wow, and have you actually been able to speak to someone?
I have spoken to a couple of people,
Mm-hmm.
and my presence on Facebook and my profile being as high as it is due to my affiliation and with music, I have also received quite a few private messages.
Oh, that's amazing.
Private messages from people reaching out or just wanting to touch base and just say, really, I've got 3 weeks and I read something the other day that you wrote. I really want to tell you that it meant a lot to me, and good luck, and maybe I'll see you around sometime, but I'm not in the bars right now. And I'll just encourage that and tell them to keep on keeping on, doing what they're doing.
And so you got a blessing, and there's also you've been a blessing to who knows how many people. Mm-hmm.
Yes, and who knows how many people.
When you mentioned something that you said this area and the number of people drinking or possibly abusing alcohol, which is kind of what I got from that, is you're also in venues that are a lot younger than we are. There's a lot of younger people. And I can tell you from my experience that whether it be Boston, Los Angeles, or Fort Myers, Florida, that it's basically all the same when you're dealing with that age group and that stuff. Because I look back on my life. While you were home raising your 3 girls and you were a stay-at-home mom, I'm in the bars. So I was that guy. And that guy that not so much puked in my purse and fell over John, but for the most part, I was that guy. And I think it's the same. And we'll be able to talk to actually Renee, our musical guest, because you're out there all the time. You're out there. Renee is playing in these places every night, I think, of every week. And you are out there supporting the live music with a ginger ale or whatever you have in front of you. I did the same thing, and I get these, had it ever tempted you? Did you ever say, that looks like, that vodka and cranberry looks good right now? Did that ever cross your mind?
Even before I moved down here and got involved in music, I would be at a wedding reception. We would go to the racetrack with other people who drank, and I have been blessed. I had an early on, I had a mentor. I have to call him that because he wasn't my sponsor, who used to tell me, the miracle that you are, that you went to your first meeting and you stayed sober.
Oh yeah.
And I never thought about it, but that is very, very rare. Mm-hmm. Since I have found that out. But I was crazy, I was sober, but I was crazy, and I was just far enough along in my inner seeking of what was going on in my life and why I was this way, that I realized that alcohol, had to be gone, but that I still needed to work on the rest of my life. Mm-hmm. And as time went on, that's just, I've continued to work and to get help, from my sponsor. I worked the steps, I went to all the meetings, I cleaned all the ashtrays, I made all the coffee, I chaired all the meetings, I started Codependence Anonymous meetings. Because that was a big part of my situation as well with men and relationships. But through it all, for some reason, it was as though that temptation was just totally taken away from me. And I've even had situations where I was served something with alcohol in it, and I had.
And you actually tasted it?
I actually tasted it. It was not a slip. It was inadvertent.
Right. You just took it. Yeah.
I took it, and I was like, "Excuse me," I think I need something else here. And now, after that happened, that's happened twice. Once years ago, and once down here. I don't know, a couple of years ago. I'm very careful. I'm not going to set myself up for another taste at all. Yeah. I don't know that would set me off. I don't know that would set someone else off. But I'm not willing to take that chance.
Right. You never know how many little tastes it takes to waken the beast, as my friend likes to say.
Absolutely. If it is that disease and it is there lying dormant in me, I'm not going to take that chance.
You don't be poking it with a stick.
Nope.
You're in good company because I believe, Joy, you are a one-time person, right?
No, I'm a two-timer.
You're a two-timer?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to say, those of us.
That was her husband, Art Ben.
Not in my relationships, just in my sobriety.
Right, okay. Well, Betty, is there anything you would like a message of hope to send out to our listening audience? Nothing that you haven't already done that, but before we go to another break.
Just keep on keeping on, and if you just keep coming back and working the steps and showing up at meetings or Grace or wherever it is that you're going, recovery is there, and there aren't any hard and fast rules that says that you have to do it any particular way. Right, whatever way works for you is the way that you need to do it.
And ladies and gentlemen, that's what this show is all about. Whatever way works for you, we want to hear about it, either by an email on our Facebook page, or a message on our website, www.ratedrforrecovery.com, or better yet, come and witness this show live at Studio 7 Cafe and Coffee Company in the TJ Maxx Plaza on Del Prado Boulevard. One thing, we actually do have a few minutes here. One thing I want to stress to everybody out there is a ton of fun in sobriety. A lot of people come into sobriety thinking, I can't do this, I can't do that. what's your experience with fun and sobriety?
Quit your kidding.
What-
And I didn't think there would be any fun in sobriety, and I thought that I would just be gritting my teeth the rest of my life, just sort of, white knuckling it through the rest of my life. And it took a while because I didn't think anything was fun anymore. And it took a while for the cobwebs to clear, and I didn't know what else to do, so I started getting into service. And through that, I found things that I enjoyed doing
Yeah.
that I never knew before.
Yeah, and my service work, what I get to do is a lot of fun just because it's fun.
Mhm.
So that's what's the fun for me. But it comes through the service work. What Betty, with you? You have a blast. You're always out there having fun.
Yeah.
So did you think when you first started coming, when you first got sober, that there would be no fun, or was it so miserable because you weren't out partying, you were at home?
Well, eventually I was out partying, but I still had my daughters at home, and that was a situation that their father came back into their life, and he started taking them on the weekends, and then it was like, oh, now what?
Yeah.
Yeah. So naturally, it was like, well, it's time for me to go out and have some fun.
Right. How old were your girls when you got sober?
How old was I when I got sober? I'm 67, so I was 37, so Stephanie was 17, and Michelle was 15 when I got sober, but I had started, their dad had come back into their life a few years before that, so that gave me ample opportunity to, find my way out to the bars, and that's where I met one of my husbands that I got sober with. And we were sober together for 13 months when he went out to drink. And we got back together when I was 5 years sober. And we remarried, and on my 10th anniversary of sobriety, he went back out again.
Oh,
Wow.
So, yeah.
that's
Yeah.
a shame.
Well, I don't know.
Do the girls, I know what you're, yeah,
Go
but do the
ahead.
girls see you, did they see you in your worst?
They saw me in my worst. Yes, I mean, they were there.
Yeah.
Right. When I was 3 months sober, I went to treatment.
Right.
The 30-day Talbot Hall. I don't know what kind of program or model it was, but because I couldn't function. I was sober, but I couldn't function. I didn't know where the salt and pepper went, and I was terrified I was going to drive off the side of a bridge, and I needed help.
So they were like teenagers. So
They were teenagers.
did they greet
yeah.
your sobriety with skepticism?
Not skepticism necessarily. They just, they knew that I needed to do something. And then after, we got sober together, then of course he took off and got drunk. I mean, he planned it.
Yeah.
And so there was a lot of, devastation and abandonment that they experienced about that. My oldest got pregnant right away. And by the grace of God, I was able not to emotionally blackmail her into an abortion.
Right.
That took some subduing because I was just terrified for her. But my youngest then lived with me, sober longer than the oldest one did. So the oldest one is practicing still to this day. And we don't have the best relationship, probably because of my sobriety and the fact that she is continuing to drink. The youngest one is not, and really never has,
Yeah, life goes on.
As a mom, that must feel so, that's where that powerlessness comes in. We wish we could take it and give it to them
Yes.
in a form like I'm holding a box and
Yes.
saying, here, take this. I
Yes.
love you. I want you to not do this any longer.
Yes.
So
yes.
that's a shame. And do you think she actually has some resentments towards you because you are sober?
Yes.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Betty Masters, give her a nice round of applause. Awesome job. Welcome back to Joe Hunter. We're going to take Joe Thomas We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to be entertained by one of the leading musicians in this area. You're listening to Rated R for Recovery at ratedrforrecovery.com.
All right.
Yay!
Awesome job. Professionals now like Maintenance calls are only $29 and financing is available for new systems. Visit the virtual service center online for more details, plus comments from their satisfied customers. Call Kool-Air now 239-279-7077 to schedule an appointment. Remember, Southwest Florida, and stay cool with Cool Air. Not everyone has the luck of life. If a friend or family member is in trouble, call Shamrock Bell Box. Put our number into your phone, 239-332-2235, 239-332-2235, or go online, go bailmeout.com. Shamrock Bell Box provides fast, reliable service. Shamrock Bell Box, 1528 Broadway, downtown Shamrock, we'll be on your side. Get yours real and shop at Universe with more than 35 bars and more handed chocolates on the outside. You're afford to find a place you can. Free sample, free chocolate platter or each day, novelties for special occasions. Located at 35
I just really feel like I can do that, where after chemo and everything, I
to serve some time or enter a treatment facility and you have children you want to temporarily release,
No, I've
family
been
member might be asked to sign a document that gives them temporary legal custody. You need to understand that this document does not automatically expire. Many parents are shocked or are released from jail only to discover
This was really a strange night. I got all prayed up and
any document that should personally call Central Already for advice 239-210-210.
Well, we married.
I couldn't standing ovation, people on the wood,
Still going out with things. It could be. That's a terrible. I think the next time.
they all stood up and I was like, oh my God.
I'm trying to get
If
not 2 o'clock.
Kitchen renovation or bathroom remodeling, there's no
Get out of work.
professionals at Honey's Construction. Value, beauty, and quality. Get the right design for your kitchen or bathroom. Add significant value to your home.
I
Call
have.
Honey's Construction.
I knew that there was, it was wonderful, wonderful. I just knew.
Fulfill your wishes and to be grateful for the many blessings you have. 229-434. Space your home while eating out. More than
That's a good game to play.
Win-win. Do you need anything?
Win-win, no, I can't have anything.
Homemade soups, salads, sandwiches, and desserts. And Gwendolyn's has been rated 5 stars by Dennis Food.
I think so.
Get the taste of home. Dine in or let us
Tell John about that.
Gwendolyn's Cafe Inn, 2400 First Street, downtown Fort Myers.
Every Friday night at 6:45 p.m. Experience Celebrate Recovery at Grace Church at 13 Southeast 21st Place in Cape Coral.
I'm just gonna wait and go
Celebrate
every day.
Recovery is to encourage fellowship and celebrate God's healing power in our lives as we work our way along the road to recovery. By working through the 12 steps and 8 principles of Celebrate Recovery, we grow spiritually and we are freed from our hurts, habits, and hang-ups. Celebrate Recovery every Friday night at 6:45 p.m. at Grace Church, 13 Southeast 21st Place in Cape Coral.
Have you been charged with a crime? You could face serious penalties for conviction. And it is vitally important that you have skilled legal assistance on your side during this time. Call Brian L. Edwards, Esquire, Attorney at Law today. 888-512-6254. Results matter. With a track record of success, our methods are tried and true. Mistakes happen, but we can help. Brian L. Edwards, Esquire, Attorney at Law. Visit FortMyersCriminalLawFirm.com or call 888-512-6254. Don't stay right after the offer of Power Club inside Captain Brian's Seafood and Law Bar. For tickets, call 239-389-0000 It's easy to fall behind on credit card and mortgage payments. When you lose a job,
I'm
not sure what your name is. Oh, my name's Sue, but I go by Joy on the air.
On romance and finance, there are solutions. If you are in foreclosure, defend a lawsuit. Chapter 7
Well, because I'm in a 12-step program, yeah.
and gives you a fresh start. Call Susan already for debt and bankruptcy.
everybody around here are-
239-210-2100, 239-210.
And you know, when we started this, I was running the neighborhood office at Fort Myers. And I stopped a year ago. I don't know, I thought it was you who were supposed to.
Next year I fight this one.
Or had tell this girl what she was
Yeah, I was.
And he got us comfortable, I just asked friendly conversation. And then I realized why it walked away. She was so reliable.
Looking to buy home in this tropical paradise from first time home buyer to investor. Has the resources you need to guide you through the purchasing process. Perhaps you have a home you're considering selling, or would like to know the value of. You can help build your dream home and watch as your vision becomes reality. Tiffany Packard can help you with all your real estate needs. Call Tiffany Packard at My Barber Shop. 502-607-500.
Speaking to
Yes, love it. So happy to be here.
Next week, we have a mutual friend of ours, Shelley, coming on the show with a bunch of women that had gone through the same treatment center in Sarasota, is it?
I think so.
Yeah, I believe so.
Positive.
That's going to make up the entire body of the show. The treatment center, the women that are new in recovery, and the women that have graduated that program.
That always brings a lot of really good energy.
Yes, and also the musical guests will be from that treatment center as well.
Love it.
Yeah, so Steven Tyler just played a show with Richie Supa at Recovery Unplugged Treatment Center in Fort Lauderdale. So
Nice.
we'll try to get them on the show.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Okay.
Welcome Renee Massey to the show, please, ladies and gentlemen. She is our musical guest this evening. Renee, I've seen you.
Renee Hose.
Renee Hose. Okay, sorry. You think I'd get the name right? That might be half the battle right there. So I'll check myself and move on. Yeah. Renee Hose, ladies and gentlemen. And Renee, I've seen you at countless different events. I don't know if what you have, if any, to do with people in recovery. Any?
I'm not actively involved with people in recovery.
Do you drink yourself?
I do, in moderation.
Yes, yeah,
most of the
because not
time.
everybody needs a 12-step program, and not everybody should abstain from alcohol drinking because it's.
When I perform, though, I mostly just drink water, and I might have 1 or 2 shots of something because it helps my throat.
And I was just about
And that's
to.
it.
I was about to say I've never seen you drink when you're performing, And how do you, you're out in the trenches, seeing these people that sometimes get out of hand.
Oh, I've seen it all.
Yes.
Oh
yes.
my.
Now, where are you?
I've had people fall into my equipment and knock my
Yeah.
microphone and
Yeah,
I mean, it's
disheartening. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you performing where the people at home can come and see you?
I'm at the Lobster Lady Seafood Market and Bistro every Tuesday night starting at 8 p.m. On Thursday nights, I'm at Chloe's Lounge at Diamond Head Resort on Fort Myers Beach.
Nice.
And on Sundays, I'm at Diamond Head Resort as well, but I'm at Cabana's Beach Bar down on the tiki out back facing the Gulf.
This time of year is not hard to get gigs, is it?
I love season.
Yeah.
I love season.
Do they make you sing
those
a lot
are
of-
my steady ones, and then I have random gigs other places, Cork Soakers, Catch 22, Bert's Bar, Beach A down in Naples. It's an Italian fine
Do they make you
restaurant
sing a
on
lot of
Fifth
Jimmy
Avenue South.
Buffett?
I refuse to sing Jimmy Buffett.
All right.
We ask why.
It's just not my thing. I feel like that there's guys that are kind of a dime a dozen running around doing that whole
Right.
thing,
Yeah.
and that's just not my thing.
Well, we brought you here to hear what your thing is.
We did, and let's waste no further time. Please welcome again with a huge Rated R for Recovery round of applause, Renee Hose.
Jimmy Buffett.
Don't want nobody to help me
soul tattoo.
Did you write that? Did you write it?
I wish I did. It was written by a contemporary Christian artist by the name of Margaret Becker.
Oh.
And it came out on one of her albums back in the early 90s. The way I'm doing it sounds a lot different than the produced version on the record album.
Great
Sounded great.
But I do this song in my shows a lot, and I love that song. And I love Margaret Becker.
What's the next song you're gonna do?
I was gonna do one of my originals.
All right.
Have at it.
All right.
great, that's great. And the name of that song? Okay.
Never cease to amaze me.
All right. Now, how do the listeners at home find your music online?
I don't have any of my originals published yet.
Okay.
But I'm hoping to start making some headway into that this year.
So they wouldn't be, and then they'll be found on Reverb Nation and that type of thing. I don't really know the process behind that.
Yeah, eventually it will be. I
Right.
have to get into the studio, and I have a lot of stuff to say and
Yeah.
a lot to share.
But we'll keep watching for you and let us know
Yeah.
when we can go find it.
Renee Hose, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
When Renee was playing, I got a text from Recovery Unplugged in Fort Lauderdale. One of the musicians is coming over to do the show in April, so Paul Wilson will be here April 9th, and he's got a great story, and he's also a great musician. And we're so thankful that whomever comes on the show, and if we could be of any help, please let us know. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for another edition of Rated R for Recovery. You can hear us at ratedrforrecovery.com live every Wednesday night. Starting in April, we'll be moving to Thursday night. And once again, have a great night. Thanks to Studio 7 Cafe. Give them a nice round of applause.
Thanks, Al.
You've been listening to Rated R for Recovery at ratedrforrecovery.com. Stay sober, my friends.
See you again.
Hey, Leon. No, not really, but it's the same. You are double life. That's my hardest thing. Yeah, I talked to you today. So you do like hip hop tracks. Oh my gosh. Well, I gotta get rid of my tools. So,
You good?
okay. Okay. Before she leaves. Yeah. Okay. But she's giving me a ride home, so.
Oh, great.